All right, beautiful people, another edition of that Cracker Sauce. Cracker coming at you. Today we're talking about Castle Ridge, the power lines. I hear this question a lot. I too myself used to get stuck there all the time from Castle in this zone. And the deal is it's a different kind of flying. And all these hills over here, we're getting nice big thermals, we're getting high, then we're going on glide. Thermal, high, go on glide. Thermal, high, go on glide. Castle Ridge, this zone here is way steeper. The only time I find that you're getting better thermals is in the dead of winter, when the sun's low and the sun's perpendicular to Castle Ridge in this area. I mean, these are steeper. There's not one big one that you're flying to that's going to go up. It's a lot of little points. So most of the time you're just bumping up above the ridge and you keep going. It's rare that a big thermal is going to come through. I'm not saying it won't, but it's rare. You have this kind of plateau behind Castle Ridge in this zone that gains a lot of heat and just draws that wind in against this whole ridge. So it's often just kind of a ridge story. Keep bumping through, sometimes turby because it's funky. It's also our closest pinch to the ocean, so the marine air affects it a lot, which also has a hard time making those thermals build up and crack off. So Castle Ridge, let's talk about it for just a minute here. You're flying in, you're flying into this zone right here. Often the west wind could ridge soar you right up this bowl, even if you're coming in low. That's kind of nice. Right up in here. And then you're just bumping along these ridges. You're hoping to get above this ridge line a little bit. I like to be, but you keep bumping along. There's a pretty good spine. Fingers that come off of here, a really big one here, but they rarely produce. It's almost a waste of time to sit here too long looking for a big thermal. If you're there and you get it, go with it. If not, you're just bumping. You just keep bumping to get above this ridge. Bump, bump. And then from this last big rocky point, you're diving back to this, to the big OHV switchback. And the big OHV switchback, this area kind of gets turby and chunky, but I've rarely seen people sink out here. Rare. So you dive back to just maybe 100, 150 above this. You dive back to this fire road zone here, and you keep bumping up. Where these little spines cross out is where I like to aim for. And usually, boom, you just work this right back up into it, cruise along, kind of dolphining, right back into it, cruise, dolphining, boom. And usually at the switchback is where I'll hang out for a few minutes and try to get one. I'll try to get one another 500 feet up. But you want to be at least over the switchback before you keep going. But often this is kind of the zone where you'll get your highest on this whole Castle Ridge. What's nice about getting high there is you can skip a lot of these next bumps if you do get high here. But if not, it's no big deal. Time just keep going. So you're talking maybe 30, 38 is really comfortable. If you're 3,800, you can keep going in here. Boom, get a little bump up. Boom, get a little bump up. And these OHV bumps 1, 2, and 3, they often work even from down lower on these points. And the glides out are pretty basic. Even if you get down in here, you got some nice big spines that follow all the way out to LZs, so it's rarely an issue. The only part, if you really do get hammered, back behind Castle Ridge, before the OHV road, you can land behind Toro Canyon Park. There's some fields like this and this where you can land back there if you aren't clearing the Polo Ridge, like this guy here. Here's the Polo Ridge before Padero Lane. Yeah, Padero Lane. So there's Polo Ridge. You can land back here. But I rarely see anybody getting flushed out in this zone. So you just keep going. Easy glide out. Usually have a little bit of west wind. So these are all easy glides out to carp, even if you get low on these spines. So just keep bumping along. OHV bump 3, I usually try to take my time because this is a little bigger jump to Snowball's Daddy. And, I like to be a couple 100 feet above this. The back route is okay. Rarely gets you any higher. It just takes longer. So from a couple 100 feet up, I don't mind, diving and getting down in here a little bit either if I've waited here a few minutes. It's not that big a deal. Like I said, the glides out aren't too bad once you're out front here. So if you get up, boom, dive across Snowball's Daddy. Sometimes I aim for this spine up. If not, I just come across this big one in the front on Snowball's Daddy and work your way to the top to this cone and hopefully get up and out. And then there's a few more bumps to the Powerline Ridge. And there's some odd spots that work in here often. Like this bowl right here often works pretty interestingly enough when you get back here. So from Snowball's Daddy, get your next one. come across. Sometimes this bowl is interesting. Sometimes this bowl is interesting. And then the actual power lines are like right here. So power line ridge is usually where you sit trying to get your thermal right before the power lines. This ridge usually isn't so good, sometimes off the end, but usually there's west wind drawing through there, so it's rare you're going to get back. So if you're going for Noon Peak, then I'll keep going here. Otherwise, I'll sit here to either head back west or fly out to Carp. But all these, you can fly these ridges all the way out. You know, Snowball's daddy, you can even land on down here, hike out and relaunch if you aren't making the glide from Snowball itself. So you can see this spine goes all the way out. The new trail, I think it cuts on this spine all the way up. But anyways, you can land anywhere on this guy, walk out. I've walked out and launched from Snowball to here and then fly to Carp. But even if you're low on these bumps and you glide out and you take your west wind, you know, you're often getting a pretty buoyant line because the west wind is pushing up all these faces, including Snowball, which is like 1,800, 1,900 feet. So these are pretty good faces. So even if your line's cruising out this way towards Carp, you get a pretty darn good line. So it's not that big a deal getting low on these and having to fly out. Otherwise, you're just bumping and going. So you bump up a couple hundred feet, come into the ridges, work the ridge up, bump up a couple hundred feet, and that's it. You're not looking for big thermals here. Once you get past the power lines, that's when the game changes. That's when you switch gears, and now you're going to start looking for big thermals again from Noon Peak on. But the whole Castle Ridge to power lines, or whole Castle Ridge to Noon Peak, you're mainly bumping and going, baby. Bumping and going. Oh, it sounds like a song. Bump and go. Anyways, that's it. That's Castle Ridge explained. Cracker out. We gotta give a shout out to all the people and organizations that make free flight possible here in Santa Barbara and our surrounding areas. First off, we got Eagle Paragliding, which is eagleparagliding.com, one of the 2 paragliding schools in town. They will take you from zero to hero, baby. From the Bunny Hill to the mountains to all over the world. They got tours all over the place. They got SIV clinics going on with a boat and a lake. So hit up eagleparagliding.com. Arctic 4 is what I fly. It's the only glider I fly. I love it. I use it for everything. Niviac.com. Safest glider on the planet. Smash that bar and you're going places. Smoking those Enzos. Ha! Badass glider. I'm surfing the train all the time here in Santa Barbara. Never take a collapse, never a wingtip. I could launch this thing in technical conditions. I could fly it on the ridges and the training hill, hike with it. It's amazing. Get one. Fly Above All, our other paragliding school in town. You'll see them up at the VOR doing some tandems at the ridges, hanging out, supporting the local community. We got, and they are flyaboveall.com. Flyawayhanggliding.com. Willie, awesome hang glider instructor, ripper pilot, doing his thing here in town. Tandems all over the place. Call me if you want to learn how to hang glide. We got miniplaneusa.com. This is Chad Bastian's company. If you want to learn how to motor, take a lesson with Chad. Super fun. If you want to learn how to thermal too, watch this guy. He's at the hill every day for the last 20 years. Amazing technique. It's like an art form watching him thermal. Watch the way he moves his hands, the way he shifts his weight. You get a lesson all in itself just watching him. And then we have our Santa Barbara Soaring Association page, sbsa.info. You can see the chat box on here when people are talking about flying. The Twitters replicate on here from the 2 paragliding schools of when they're meeting and where the flying's happening. We also have a visiting pilots page. Santa Barbara Soaring Association keeps our sites flyable, our sites insured. Our Wind Talkers talking, so we definitely want to contribute to them. Definitely hit up a local before you come flying or one of the paragliding schools. All the contacts are on the visitings page, and you have to be a member to fly our sites. So we have a little donate here. You can donate and do it right online and be all set for when you come fly. So welcome to paradise.